Erev Torah B'tai, I want to tell you something interesting, that sometimes people, they don't have books, so what they do is they go to the shul, or to the Bet Midrash, to the Yeshiva, and they borrow books from there, because they don't have at home, they don't have any books. Whatever it is, it may be, Chumash, Gemara, right, whatever it is, doesn't matter, it's all the same. So the question is, are they allowed to do that? Or they have to get permission from the Gabbai, go to the Gabbai, tell him, okay, can I take this book, And Gabbai says, okay, or sometimes he says, no, we need it here, you cannot take it. Right? Sometimes he refuses, right, the Gabbai, And there are some places, by the way, this is the reason why I got into this whole thing, where, the Gabbai tell people, don't ever take any book, from outside the shul. No books. Why they do this? Because they're bad people? No, that's not the reason why. The reason is because a lot of people are taking it and not returning it, So they say, you see what happens over here. We're losing all our books. We're losing our library, So we're gonna have nothing left, So they tell people, they have a sign, they make a sign. Don't take any books, from here, all right, that's it. Until you get permission, whatever, or something like that, right? Whatever. So this is the question, right? What's the rule with this? So the truth is, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, Choshen Mishpat, something interesting about this, that the truth is, that the rabbis made a takana about this, like a decree. So what was the decree that they made? That every community, has to buy books for people, to read them. This is like an obligation, the community has to do this. So what does that mean? When a community buys Sfarim, and they put them in the shul, or they put them in the yeshiva, this is for anybody, who wants to read it. Anybody has a right to read this thing. So you don't really need permission, from the Gabbai, to read this thing, But what about the question is, because they're obligated to do this, as a service for the community. It's a service, public service for the community. The rabbis obligated this. Not only that, right, there's a tshuva of the Rosh, he writes there something even stronger. He says that if there is a, chacham, let's say, right, in a place, in a neighborhood, he has a certain book, like it's a rare book. Not everybody has this book. It's rare. And somebody in the community needs to read it, to research something, whatever. So he's allowed to go to this chacham, and tell him, please, I need to borrow your book, and the chacham has to give it to him, this person, whoever it is. He has to give it to him. Because, this is like something that the rabbis decreed. That a person, people have to give each other books, if they need to read something, whatever. So the truth is, that these Gabbaim, who are doing like this, they're writing, in the shul, don't take out the books, only here. It's not correct what they're doing. Why? Because according to what the Rosh says, right? The truth is that a person, he cannot just, the rabbi cannot tell him, or whatever, the Gabbai, he cannot tell him, you can only read it here, but don't take it home. Why? Because if you tell him like this, he can't really read it, he doesn't have time to stay here all day. He needs time, to read the book. He needs time at home. So if you tell him only do it here, he's not going to be able to really do it. That's the whole thing, He's not going to be able to, it's not convenient for him like that. So therefore, the rabbi said like this, the Rosh writes over there, that he has to give him the book, to lend him the book and take it home. Not just to say, if you want, you can come to my house, and read it over here. No, why in your house? I don't have time to sit in your house. I don't feel comfortable there. So he's got to give him the book. But the thing is, on the other side, right? If he does damage to the book, he damages it. He has to pay for that, He's got his obligation to pay, Okay, we let you borrow it. Nice, okay, take it, But, then bring it back also. Don't just say, I'm leaving it over here in my shelf, my house. This is gezel, You cannot do that. When you finish using it, you got to bring it back. That's the whole thing. You have to be a decent person, decent guy. So this is the rule, On the one hand, a person is allowed to take from a shul, a book, that he needs to read. He's allowed to do that. Because it belongs to the community. It's not, you can't just say, it belongs to the shul, only over here. The rabbis don't like this, this kind of thing. You should let anybody take a book and read it if he wants to. Because if you don't let him to read, it's bitul Torah. You're not allowing him to learn Torah. It's not nice. There's something like this.
Right now we give me an idea. There are a lot of libraries.
Yeah.
We don't have a Jewish libraries.
Oh.
If somebody opens a library like that, you can go, sign
Right.
up, take the book and go home. And
So you know where's the Jewish library? In the yeshiva. You go to yeshiva, they have a nice library there, a lot of books. All the wall is full of books, this side, that side, this side, that side. It's all the whole wall is books, in yeshiva. That's the way it is. In kollel.
let me in.
Huh?
Nobody's gonna let me in.
They let you in. It's okay. Every Jew can come into yeshiva, come into a kollel. I'm talking about, adult yeshiva, not a kiddie wiki. Even there you can go in. But the truth is, either way, right, as we said, the rule is like this, if a person needs to take a book, and, he needs to read it, the community has an obligation, to accommodate him. You cannot just say, don't take the books. So now the question is like this, right? As I told you, the reason why they do this, the shul and the yeshiva, is because they don't bring them back. This is the problem, Sometimes they don't bring it back. So the truth is, says Rav Moshe Feinstein of Hashem regarding this in the tshuva, he has a tshuva about this. He says, that's why, when you take the book, just tell the gabbai, I'm taking it, because this way he'll be able to, write it down, jot it down, so he'll remember to ask you, to bring it back. You know what I mean? Otherwise, how it's going to be, right? It's not going to be organized like that. You just take it, and you go and you never come back. That's no good. It's gezel. You cannot just keep the book in your house forever. It doesn't belong to you, So what we are allowed to do, as we said, right? We take it, we read it, we finish it, and then have to bring it back. Yeah.
Is there a chiluk if I'm taking from someone that paid for it and it's belonged to him?
Yeah.
Or if I'm taking it from a library that somebody donated that to the
Right.
yeshiva?
That's exactly what we just said, right? That even in a case like that, where it belongs to a private person, we can still force him. The Bedin can force him.
If I lost it.
If you lost it, you got to pay for it.
For both cases, it's the same because somebody donated that to the Bet Knesset.
Doesn't matter, right? That still, belongs to the community, right? So if you lose it, you should pay. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. Because you're borrowing it, you're not acquiring it forever. It's not an eternal, acquisition, right? It's not, Yerusha, right? It's not the.
No, but when somebody's donating something, it's not. It's giving it as a present to the Bet Knesset.
Right. So it belongs to the community. Then that's what it is, So since it belongs to the community, if you damage the book, right? Yeah, okay, but you're also responsible, So if you damage the book or it got lost or whatever, you should buy another one, and bring it to the shul if it's possible, if you can,
You have cases like for, let's say, a lot of the selling that is a set. If you're losing one, I'm not gonna buy a set of 20.
Okay, then we do the best we can,
No, but you're gonna.
That's already a practical discussion, how to get the book, if who do you have to call, I don't know, this is already a different discussion, I'm just talking general halakha, what I mean, basic halakha, whatever, right? If you have a case like that, right, you try your best to bring them something, whatever, that they can get, whatever, So as we said, right, but the truth is that if the gabaim, are rashaim, excuse my expression, and they tell you, no, don't take nothing from here. So this is rasha, a person like this. He's not following the rules of the Shulchan Aruch. You know what I mean? So if a person is like that, he's so stingy like that, terrible, So what you do is, take it without telling him, You're allowed to take it anyway. The rabbis gave you permission to take, Just make sure you bring it back. You know what I mean? If the gabbai is a hard person, difficult, Well, okay, people like this, they don't have a good heart, these people. They have a bad heart, They don't give people, to read the Torah. What is it? What is it? You platinum, gold? What is diamond? What do you have there? It's a book. It's a sefer. So that's the thing, So as we said, right, that but you're not allowed to keep it for its mitut, right, forever. Of course, you have to bring it back. And that's why lechatchila, right? If the gabbai is a nice guy, what I mean? Just tell him, I'm taking the book. He's not a stingy guy. I'm taking it so he can jot it down. So this way, if you lose it or if you forget to bring it back, he'll remind you. He'll call you, right? He'll say, please bring back the book. Did you finish already? You've had it already for 6 months. It's a little bit too long. So now, right? The final question is like this. But what about those people who don't bring back the books? What should they do? So you know what the answer is? Buy more books. Okay, well, so what? What's the big deal? What does it cost you? $20, $30, $40, $50. So what? The community doesn't have $50? They have, for everything else, they have money. But for this, they don't have, right? To buy it. Okay, so they don't bring it back. Buy another one. You know what I mean? try to organize it, that it shouldn't be like that. But if it happens, it happens. What can you do? So what? Doesn't mean, you can say, they don't bring it back, so now nobody can take it. That's it. It's like a private property. It's my own book. Now the Gabbai says, this Gabbai is shoteh. I'm sorry, but he's not right what he's doing. It's not nice to behave like that. Okay, Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ואמן. רבי חנן השומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעוזק את ישראל, לפיכך הכי בא להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.